This video will contain spoilers for Agents of SHIELD, Marvel Phase 1 to 3 shows, and SCP universe of course. You have been warned. Ever since I started watching Agents of SHIELD, I thought it shared lots of common things with SCP universe. I'm not saying one copied from another or anything. Both of them are created by creative people, and when it comes to sci-fi, horror, and secret organizations, you have certain variables to work with, which limits you, and it puts you in a box basically. I believe ACP is more off the rails and out of the box compared to Agents of Shield show, but that's mostly because ACP doesn't have to follow any Disney community guidance rules or censorship issues. Let's be real. One show is set in the same universe as Ant-Man, and the other one belongs in a universe where anomalies capable of killing dogs. And or gods exist. Not sure about and or, but at least or exist. And yes, whenever I'm talking about a specific SCP, you will see the number on the screen somewhere, as I'm not insane enough to remember every single SCP by the number. I do know some of the SCPs by the number, but that doesn't count. So what exactly is SCP? Maybe Secure Content Protect, SCP, also known as Foundation, is a secret organization that deals with anomalies and unexplainable phenomena. Of course, it is fictional and created by a community of authors. If you got what it takes, you can certainly write an SCP too. So now for those SCP researchers with level 5 clearance or above who are not familiar with the fictional so-called Agents of SHIELD, or also known as Agents of Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Divisions, refer to the following addendum. Recorded by the audio is protected by a mimetic kill agent designed to immediately cause cardiac arrest in any non-authorized personnel attempting to access it, unless in an event of yeah, I'm not kidding. That's totally how serious we take things when it comes to ACP writing. If you are already aware of Ace of Shield, or also known as AoS, skip the addendum timestamp on screen. Anyway, addendum. Ace of Shield is a non-anomalous television show which ran from 2018 to 2020, spanning 7 seasons and 136 episodes. It is set in the same continuity as Marvel movies, also known as MCU, or it should be called as MCM, considering the multiversal events happened in Loki and Endgame. Even though Kevin Feige and other creators have provided us with conflicting evidence about the canonicity of Agents of Shield, it is it is what it is, man. It's multiverse, so everything is real when it comes to canonity. So we follow Phil Coulson and his team, a group of badass field agents, superpowered folks, neurotypical science experts, and sometimes a combination of all three. Let's be real. And they just try to protect the normalcy from one catastrophe or another. We got Fitzsimmons, Melinda May, Quake, also known as Sky, also known as Stacy Johnson, also known as Stacy, also known as Destroyer of Worlds, also known. It, that's how the name she has, I believe. I guess she doesn't have any other name. Shield organization is also meant to be a secret organization, but it does not work well. Thank you to Natasha Romanoff.
Did I step on your moment?
Try to be as covert as possible while trying to protect normalcy and the existence of humanity as we know it. Now let's get to the topic. Is Agents of Shield an SCP offshoot, or is SCP Agents of Shield offshoot? Neither. Great minds think alike, and sometimes the same thing, to be exact. But it doesn't mean Newton stole calculus from the Leibniz dude. As I said previously, they have similarities, and I'm just going to rant about it and then show what's what. SCP is run by O5 Council. You might expect the O5 Council to have 5 members. That would make sense, but nothing makes sense in SCP. It actually has 13 members for some reason. Some of them are not even humans. Some of them are anomalous themselves to begin with, and the exact details of the members change in different universes, different canons, and different scenarios. To be fair, SCP is written by multiple authors. Sometimes ideas won't fit in together in the same sandbox. They would just put it in a different universe or an offshoot or a different canon. And sometimes some project actually explains why there are multiple SCP-1s or multiple canons exist. Check out Project Palisade. It's a great content. You should check it out. I don't want to spoil it. So we see in Avengers 1 that SHIELD is overseen by a community called World Security Council. It consists of 4 to 5 politicians at a given time. Some of them we met, or that lady Natasha was pretending as, and then Gideon Malik, and then Alexander Pierce from the Winter Soldier. All of the members are humans, mostly politicians, but Gideon went and did his own thing and became a cyborg. And the other Malik from the other timeline somehow got quake power by blood transfusion. Also, let's be real, any of them could have been Skrull all along, so we can't say they are actually humans. Anyway, both SCP and AoS deal with all sort of nonsense. I'm talking everything. Science experiment gone wrong, aliens, superheroes, shapeshifters, anomalous objects, superpowered humans, superpowered half-alien humans, gods, non-corporeal maniacs, demons, ghosts, gods, or gods, curses, devices, which are just impossible to exist or function, myths, unknown, incomprehensible, zombies, what have you, they have faced it all. They have backup plans and bunkers for everything, enough to withstand most apocalypses, which are complicated by the SHIELD agents. Well, when it comes to SHIELD, at least nuclear winter and alien invention can be escaped and survived. It is rudimentary, but when Earth blew up, single base called Lighthouse protected humanity from extinction. It's just a thing which has been built beneath a lighthouse. It's just exactly like a lighthouse, but it's underneath the earth. It can save people in case of emergency, in case of catastrophe. So yeah, it's very similar to the inverted tree shenanigans from the SCP or the Archon 11 uh, SCP site. Numbers will be on the screen. Speaking of shenanigans and hootenannies and whatnot, SCP Foundation compiles them in a numbering system to keep track of everything. Usually they go like SCP-001 to SCP whatever the hell they are on right now. I would say Series 8, so around 7,000 or 6,000. 7,000. SHIELD also does the same. They call the anomalies as 084. The first item, number 084, is actually an obelisk captured by Peggy Carter and co. from Whitehall, that Nazi. Yeah, 084 can be an object, person, place, phenomenon, what have you, just like SCPs. When it comes to SCP, it can be anything from a vending machine, tune, thought, pattern, lack of place, pocket dimensions, person, mythical beings, viruses, entities, incomprehensible things just doesn't exist or which can't be seen or which can't be remembered. Literally anything which exists and doesn't exist can be SCP as long as it's super unexplainable or indestructible. SCP-001 is actually, well, it's actually a funny story because I know what the real SCP-001 is, and it is just like any organization, SCP and SHIELD both has clearance levels. To keep secrets, the O5 Council I spoke about, most of the Level 1 Foundation personals think O5 Council is just a myth. That's how secretive they are. Just like how everyone below Level 6 on SHIELD thought Coulson was actually dead after Avengers. And that's not even the biggest secret SHIELD has actually kept.
Tahiti.
Tahiti.
It's a magical place.
It's a magical place. Magic.
It's a magical place. It's a magical place.
Tahiti.
Tahiti.
What was that all about, you ask? So, if you have seen Avengers 1, you know that Loki stabbed Coulson to death, the space glow stick. Then how in the heck Coulson is alive in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you ask? Did he not die, or is the show set before Avengers? No, he did die, but the show's also set after Avengers. So what basically happened is Nick Fury saw the dead body of Coulson and then said,
Not an option.
we have to save him up because he got some work to do, and I don't trust any of you people. So he took the body, he froze it, he took him to Tahiti, not the vacation Tahiti, but Tahiti is it's a project Tahiti, it's a secret base. And well, they just pumped alien blood into him and did some casual lobotomy. Yeah, just casually, they are SHIELD, they are the good ones. So yeah, they just removed and altered certain memories. because man wanted out for real when they were putting him back together. I mean, just see this if you don't believe me, because it sounds like I'm making things up. It's a Disney show after all.
This is wrong.
Can you feel that?
Don't.
Listen to him.
Stop.
Who ordered this?
Director Fury himself.
This is wrong. Listen to him.
Let me die, please. Please. Please, I'm begging you, let me die. Please. Please, let me die. Let me die, please. Please. Let me die.
Yeah, for the greater good, Nick Fury went and just broke the laws of universe. Not in a fun one, no, for days of summer vacation way, more in a fucked up way. And speaking of fucked up, SCP Universe actually got this idea beat. Because check out SCP 2719 because it's extremely good stuff. I don't want to spoil anything. But if you're too lazy to go check that out and come back, I will just spoil it for you. You deserve it. What happened is basically an important O5 council died during a vacation and Foundation needed a key from him and a secret code word. They only find the body after 20 years after his death. So they had to reanimate him, and ACP Foundation actually has 19 different ways they can reanimate a dead person depending upon the situation and what they need. Well, technically 20, but yeah, whatever. They just tried to reanimate certain parts of him, but they just put the whole man back together. And man just lost his shit when he came back, but he started working well with the O5 Council right after having a mental breakdown. And he never said what happened during his death, he just said nothing happened. But yeah, sooner or later he had to spill the beans about afterlife after going rogue, trying to find immortality. Yeah, he did that. He tried to extend his life too. Well, when he spilled the bean, he said when he died, nothing happened, as in things happened, but he couldn't control what exactly happened. He can feel every inch of his body, every cell on his body, and everything started to be painful, but he couldn't do anything. He could feel the cells dying. He could feel the body becoming part of the island, birds which ate him and then spread him across the ocean, and the dead cells which just flew away in the air. He could feel every single bit of himself, but he couldn't prevent himself from dissolving into the nature, and everything was just painful. Yeah, it's just pure existential terror and horror beyond human comprehension. Yeah, the twist is it's just a cognito hazard, which means you will be only affected if you know about the SCP. That's a cool concept to begin with, if you're being honest. But if you don't know about the SCP, you may or may not experience this version of fucked up afterlife. But who actually knows? Because surprisingly, Foundation has no idea what happens when someone dies. Because most of the revival method won't actually save the memory which happened during death. So, but those who are aware of this SCP will certainly die and never cease to exist. So what Y Council did was took lots of medicines which will just make them forget about this whole shenanigan. That theory is if they don't remember about this cognitive hazard, the SCP won't affect them. Well, sounds good, but yeah, I totally doomed you all by sharing this certain SCP because if it is true, it's like you're done for. And again, I never understood how the O5 member actually got infected by that SCP because it was never explained. And let's just say, hypothetically, you are that guy. You hear about this enforcer and forget about it, or purposely forget about it. You go to the island and you die. You don't cease to exist, and then Foundation puts you back. Now you want to figure out immortality because you don't want to die or not die. So you either didn't remember that SCP before you die, or you did that, you knew it, but you didn't care. Like if you are a O5 council, how could you not care about such a SCP file, even if you didn't know that it's an incognito hazard, which means you knew about it once and forget about it, but you still went through the whole pain and suffering, or you didn't know about it and you just suffer through it as if it's just reality for everyone, but people just believe that if you forget about it, you won't suffer it. But that can't be true, right? My brain hurts. I can't do this. So speaking of fucked up things in SCP universes, We also have D-class members who are like low life of the low life. They are just unlucky people who could be dethroned mates, high-level personnel who just fucked up big time and who had to be punished, or generally unlucky people who are just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So Foundation finds these people and then they just treat them as expendable, less valuable than paper, if you ask me, and they just don't care about how many dead bodies they throw at an SCP to contain it, as long as it's D class, of course. Specifically, there's an SCP in the 1500 range, and it's about a teenager called Tyler. He's a school kid, and then something bad happened to him. He died, but he kept replicating, like more bodies of him showed up, but alive actually. And SCP saw this and like, yeah, free D class members. It's like, that multi-coin block. You just keep smashing it and then it'll just keep giving you coin 8 or 10 times. So they are being effective with what they have, but it's not like they actually took time to care about it because they just don't care. D class member, clone whatever, they don't care. So why am I talking about this as if AoS has any similarities with it? Well, they don't consider anyone as expendable, even the bad ones. But everyone who's not a main character, aka the character who has names and we know about, they everyone other than that tend to die. They're just red shirt basically. Not that they wear red uniforms like Enterprise people, but they just die a horrible death and soak their suit and body armor with just blood. The show usually keeps us from away from think. The show usually keeps us away from thinking about it, but with this in mind, rewatch the show and then you realize that lots of people die in Shield. Yeah, everyone just cleared out except the people we know. It happened so much in season 1 and 2 that they had to hire a Bobby's ex-husband who's just a fucking loose cannon. And it happened again, even there, multiple times. I'm actually surprised that the Secret Warriors, the Inhumans, never died. But who knows? And shit hit the fan with Remora, the Space Pirates, Confederacy, Graviton. That happened during Avengers Infinity War 2, so that's everyone died. And then Chronicoms happened, which are like they just walked in and then they just shot everyone except very few agents. And how can I forget about Patton Oswald?
This is a fucking nightmare. Holy
Not him, but his characters, which are called Koenigs brothers, or clones, or preliminary LMDs, or clones, or test tube agents, or clones again, or who knows, replicants, whatever. None of us understood who exactly they are, but they just had one Koenigs in each super secret base. Like, I forgot the names. Both universes have rival groups. You got watchdogs, who are basically inhuman hunters or haters, very similar to Global Occult Coalition in SCP canon. They are very similar to SCP Foundation, but their motivation is not secure content protect, it's more like secure, eliminate, repeat. They don't want any anomalies around, whether it's alive or dead, they don't care. Shield, they have motives and values too, just like Star Trek. They try to adapt an anomaly if it's a tech, so they can re-engineer it and use it for their purpose. If it is too dangerous or too useless, they would just keep it hidden, so they can just repurpose it later for a later use when something comes up. And if it is a person, they will try to keep track of this said person so they can recruit them and then use them in case of emergency. Yeah, remember how Yo-Yo split that psycho witch's throat open and then everyone just lost their mind? That's basically SCP-2. No matter how bad something is, they want to contain it. They only eliminate it in case of a really worst case scenario. And not to mention, there are a bunch of things which cannot be destroyed at all. And they still try to contain those SCPs because civilians would lose their mind if they know about an indestructible, hateful lizard or indestructible anything of any sort to begin with. And they both Agents of Shields and the Agents of ACP make the tough fucking choices when it comes to it. Take Melinda May, for example. She fought everything, and she once realized that she had to kill an inhuman to save Shield agents, and you know what she did? She shot a kid with a magnum.
No, not them.
Let them go. We can fix you. We can help. Just don't.
Take my hand. Give me your pain. I need a new mother. Take your pain.
Stop. Just put your hand down and stop. Everything's gonna be all right.
Just please.
Yeah, it broke her from the inside out, but she did it. She had to make that choice, and she did make that choice. And DCP also funds make tough choices. They fund actually eugenics, genocide, and all unhinged atrocities to contain worse SCPs. Again, when Foundation found a dog killing machine, they didn't go, "Oh, this is way too evil. This is way too out of our league. We are not going to fuck with this." No, they just kept killing dogs. As in, they just kept researching that SCP, that machine, so they can find some kind of loophole or some kind of, I don't know, strategy to save people or solve some issue. I mean, it's not like they would solve world hunger. If they can actually solve it, they will just keep it to secret because they protect normalcy. And this re-engineering of anomalies can be seen both in Agents of Shield and SCP. We got things like reality anchors, which are basically repurposed, unexplainable objects from other SCPs. And then we got teleportation machine from Remorats or Confederacy. The agents just took that machine. Well, Deke stole that idea to begin with, but yeah, they just took that space teleportation method and then injected the monolith stones from space-time thing. So now they have a teleportation machine which can teleport their whole Zephyr through space and time. That's like, yeah, it's just re-engineering and then using anomalies for their advantage. Otherwise, I mean, I'm not saying it in a bad way because if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have prevented Chronicums from fucking up the whole timeline, which I'm not sure why they had to do because they went to a different universe and then they just didn't know how multiverse worked at that time, maybe. One time SCP fucked up too much, they screwed around too much and then somehow managed to kill death itself, the physical manifestation of death, so no one could die after that. And some of the SCP officials up high in the ladder were actually advocating not to do anything with the new situation of no one dying because it became the new normalcy, and their mission is to protect normalcy, not to change normalcy. But AO Shield actually has a better view with this normalcy protection thing because when Daisy just threw lots of terrigen crystals down the ocean and then caused terrigenesis for so many inhumans who were unprepared civilians, that became the new normalcy and the Shield accepted it and then they helped these people and then facilitated them. They kept track of these superpowered people instead of trying to protect the normalcy by killing them. I just hope that no one got the eye projector power because that would be a shame. We already have one in Atlan, whether it's canonical or not. We don't need another eye projector in human in our timeline. And also, yeah, both of the organizations are supposed to be secret. SCP actually keeps up with this secret. They try their best and they succeed, but Agents of Shield they just suck at it because they are against the tough hearts. They are against tough hearts. Not going to lie. The Hydra infiltration, alien invasion, Natasha Romanoff just blowing the cover of the whole thing. Captain America, Inhumans, LMDs assassinating an army general, alien invasions, alien observers, alien artifacts, more aliens. But SCP fought against greater threats and kept their secret an actual secret. Constantly, Shield removed themselves off the board for greater good a few times, which the Foundation can do too, much better than Shield, using SCP-6511, which is just a unique concept. So that's the end of my rant. SCPs and AoS have lots of things in common. They are similar if you think about it, but they have lots of creativity and honest work into it. honest work put into it. It's not like one is lazy and one is better. They are both good in their own ways. So thanks for watching, and I would like to end the video by quoting something from both SCP and Agents of Shield. We die, we die in the dark so you may live in the light. Disappear, become ghosts. That's how we have to live now, in the shadows, to save people when they don't even know it or they don't want it. When I wrote those lines, I got chills. So yeah, and this video might seem unhinged, I might seem unhinged, but this is actually a scripted video. I'm just too chaotic. So watch Agents of Shield and never ask the Foundation why they actually have an ethics community. I'm not kidding. Ethics community. They must be the exact same community as we see in the Good Place one, where they just write strongly worded letters to devils and demons and whatnot. I'm thinking about writing an SCP. I have a few ideas. Yeah, I know that's a weird place to end the video, but I just wanted to mention it. So I actually recorded this video yesterday and then I exported it. Then I realized, oh wait, I have one more topic to talk about because I went to skating today and then the topic just came into my mind out of nowhere. Hydra. Yeah, I don't randomly think about Hydra, but there's a similarity between SCP canon and the AoS. It's a group of interest called Church of Fifth or Fifthism, which is basically a cult in the SCP universe. And then we have something similar in Marvel, which is a group of interest called Hydra. I know that even if you know both about SCPs and Marvel universe, you might not know the relevance between them because well, most people has this false sense of identity about Hydra, which is Hydras are basically Nazis who have formed after 1940 whatever Führer World War II, you know the stuff. But the thing is, Hydra is much older than German itself. Let's we need to talk about some lore which I love talking about because everyone thinks that I'm just making this stuff up, but it's all real. So Hydra is not Nazis. Well, some of the Hydras are Nazis, but the true purpose of Hydra is to actually worship a half alien Mayan hunter gatherer. So that's totally far from what Nazi stands for. Let me explain. So Kree are this alien beings who just travel across the universe to find Earth-like planets where humanity or civilization hasn't been developed yet. And what they would do is they would just come down and they just take some specimen and then they start experimenting on them by injecting their blood. And then they just hope that that blood infusion will provide these other civilization with some kind of power, and then they can use these civilizations as an army for their war. It's not uncommon, even Thanos does it because the Chitauri aliens are actually genetically modified or genetically created beings by Thanos. That's why they have their hive mind and everything. And which is exactly what Kree were trying to do before, I would say 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. And what happened was a bunch of Kree came down to Earth and then started experimenting on this this Mayan guy, and then pumped him with blood, and then he became the leader of Inhumans. Inhumans are the people who got the Kree blood in them. And this leader of Inhumans, let's just call him as Hive, as others also do in the Agents of Shield show. Hive can basically use nanoparticles to make other Inhumans as an addict to him. So it's like he just gives them drug, and so they will be loyal to him and obedient. So he is an extremely strong being, and what happened was humanity and some of the Inhumans actually were afraid of this guy who can just control the most powerful people on Earth. And what they did was they used this monolith from Incans to transport him to a distant planet called Mavat. So yeah, they just trapped him in Mavat using the stone somehow. I don't know how. No one told anyone about how that happened, but he's in Mavat, and Hydra are a bunch of humans who want Mawat to return or Hive to return from Mawat so that he can take charge of Earth and then evolve humanity into an inhuman, powerful existence. Yeah, Hydra does not know that it's just a Kree experiment. They don't know the whole lore about this, but they just see Mawat as this god who can control other inhumans. So that's basically who Hydra is. And what they would do is they meet every 4 year or every year, and then they pick one guy from the High Association of Hydra Super Secret Society, and then the chosen unlucky or lucky guy, however you see it, has to go to Mawat to serve Hive. Basically, it's just a cannon fodder because Hive needs some kind of service, some work, some body to possess. Otherwise, he would die in that alien planet. So Hydra just keeps sending him fresh batch of humans, so he can use them as slaves or use them as body. And that's basically it. And he can certainly possess dead humans who don't have inhuman gene in them. For example, Ward. And he actually tried to work with some scientists and to de-evolve humans, so every single human will become an inhuman zombie. It's, yeah, you could say de-evolve or re-evolve or evolve, whatever. And this is very similar to Fifthism because Fifthism is basically cults or cult, however you like to see it. They want to elevate humanity to a fifth dimension or to an unknown dimension. The thing is, even SCP does not understand what the Fifthism is all about because it's just too alien for them. And they just see it as this is not normal, so we are just going to shut them down, take them out. And Fifthism has been around for too long, just like Hydra. And their goal is very similar to Hydra's goal. Even if you take Nazi Hydra, they just want to use space stones or stones used by Odins, however they saw it, we don't know. And they use those artifacts of incomprehensible power to invent weapons so they can elevate humans in their own view, in their own twisted view. So Fifthism, there has been so many different versions of Fifthism. It's basically a cult. What happens is the cult get topples inside out, or someone takes the cult out because of how weird they are, and then this starfish constellation contacts another person, and then that person does some work in art or some kind of book or movie, and then people watch it and then get inspired to form this Fifthism cult again. This happens again and again, and sometimes one version of cult doesn't even know that there's going to be another version of cult, just like Hydra, because we thought Hydra was over when Natasha exposed all of the secrets, but they still kept doing the Hydra ritual where they meet every single year to throw people to Mawat, because that's a different part of Hydra from the Hydra we know, which infiltrated SHIELD. And there's the other part of Hydra which worships Mawat actually infiltrated NASA, and Fitzsimmons actually found out about it because they, instead of sending Hydra officials, they actually started sending NASA astronauts to Mawat, so they actually know how to get back somehow, even though Fitz and Simmons are the one who got Mawat back. So yeah, Fifthism, Hydra, they are similar if you know enough lore about them. Basically, Fifthism is just a starflesh anomaly which wants to take over Earth and then change it in its own way into a fifth dimension. It sounds very similar to Attack from the Fifth Dimension seen in the Captain Chaotica TV show from Star Trek Voyager. But yeah, they want humanity to become part of the fifth dimension, and then Hydra wants humanity to become inhuman army, even though they don't want to participate in Kree Skrull war. That's basically it, and I will join that to the previous video and then export it again and then probably upload it today. And my next video, chances are it will be me ranting about Dragon Ball Super continuity, or I might be solving this puzzle. Yeah, this one. It's basically a jigsaw puzzle, but in 3D. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but I'm not sure whether you can see these pieces. Maybe I will insert some pictures later. And I'm going to scramble it and then solve it, record a time lapse, and post it on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Why did I even unbutton it? It looked good. So I can't even blame if this video doesn't have any views, because I took SCP, a niche community in horror creepypasta thing, and then Ace of Shield show, which is another niche community in comic book niche community, because no one watches all the Marvel shows, especially the ones which are semi-canons. And basically said if those two sets had any intersections, which is other than me, if it's even possible, they will be my audience. So I don't know how many people would actually be interested in watching this. I'm not even sure why I do this anymore, but I can't stop.